with a view to expanding the availability of hiking trails
Thank you.
in Horseshoe Bay.
And let me
Thank you, ma'am.
let me just say that third part is underway.
Thank
We
you.
are currently in conversations right now with the Horseshoe Bay POA and the resort, and we hope to make some progress on that regard in the near future. So thank you for that.
You can
Thank
enjoy
for
the
what you're
support of the Hill Country Trekkers in those
Thank you.
actions.
Appreciate
ma'am.
that.
Thank you.
And the next speaker is Jay Platt. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Judy made an eloquent statement in regards to opposing this. I think you can see this slide really shows the proximity of this urban development, which is not the hill country. This is urban. They talked about potentially coming in here and clear cutting the whole thing as one of their options, which obviously would gut the existing aesthetics of that very special place in Horseshoe Bay. Many of us came from urban environments to escape such atrocity of nature. So I urge the council to deny the variance and denying this going forward.
Thank you. Thank you,
you.
Mr. Platt. Okay, our next speaker is Jeff Simmons.
Hello, I'm Jeff Simmons. My wife and I live at 1317 Mountain Dew, just on the other side of this ravine. We also own the two adjacent lots at 1319 and 1321. Ditto, everything that they have said. In addition to that, one thing I haven't heard, in my experience, and you're talking about the birds, this looks like prime nesting habitat for the golden cheek warbler, which, as most people know, is on the endangered species list. I don't know if the city has done multi-year studies to track the movement of that bird, or if the developer has done that. If you have not, I would suggest you reach out to Texas Parks and Wildlife or Fish and Wildlife. Fish and Wildlife has extremely strict development guidelines if you're going to talk about getting into taking or potentially taking habitat for an endangered species. Thank you.
You don't know that that is the case.
I don't
You're
know.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Marilyn Campbell. Okay. We'll put her down as a ditto. Thank you. And Evan Sandoval. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Evan. Yeah, you've already spoken. Okay. Never mind. Nico.
Yeah, I'm good. I just signed up in case Aaron wasn't able to speak.
Oh, okay. All right. You're part of the ownership. And Brandon Gordon, is that also part of ownership? Okay. And Ellen Anguish.
Hello, my name is Ellen Anguish, and I live at Mountain Dew and Grassy Knoll. I first learned of this project or this proposal when I got the notice about the application to LCRA, and I called and said, I don't have waterfront property. Why is LCRA contacting me? It's because of the water runoff, the drainage from this proposed development is coming to the intersection of Mountain Dew, Grassy Knoll, which is where my house is, where I live. The engineer spoke, and she's talked about this retaining pond. She also used the word try multiple times during her talk. Also, they talked about the roads in this existing. I live right there. I've walked those roads. The only roads that are paved are Grassy Knoll to Rocky Ridge. These other roads, they're dirt. They've not paved. They're not maintained. I don't know why they're calling them streets that they're going to upkeep, or actually she said the city would have to upkeep. So
No, I think my understanding is that the developer would improve the roads to the
but then it would be
level
up
of.
the city for the upkeep.
That's right. They would
So
improve the roads to the level that we require, and then the city would maintain them.
thank you for.
Mhm.
And the other thing I wanted to bring up is I was happy to see on the agenda the dark sky today, 123 homes. I just can't imagine what that would do to this area. You know, lose our stars, lose our.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm very emotional about this. I'm sorry, but thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ellen. Appreciate it. Rick, is there anything else you want to add at this point? Okay, counsel, our legal advisor, Dottie, is here, and I think we would benefit at this point from convening an executive session under Local Government Code, Section 551.071 for consultation with our attorney on this item. So
Mayor, it's Texas Government Code.
isn't that what I said? Oh, did I say local? No, Texas Government Code. So if one of you would like to make a motion that we move into executive session, I would appreciate that.
I move we move into executive session to discuss this matter.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we're going to move to executive session. Now, we're going to do something a little different. Usually we ask you to leave, but that there's so many people here, they're only going to be, this will not take long. I just want to make sure that the council understands all of their options and that we've gotten the advice from our attorney. So we're going to go to the conference room. I'm going to ask council, Carrie, Jeff, Rick, and our attorney, and Roy Jambor, the Developmental Services, and you all just talk amongst yourselves, and we'll be back. Thank you.
Further would request that we defer it until such time that our third-party city engineer, Freeze and Nichols, is available to, at the council meeting to hear and see the proposal, and because they've been so heavily involved at this time, that the applicant be required to pay the fee for such presence and attendance by Freeze and Nichols. And then finally, I would ask that we defer it until such time as the city is presented with a verifiable determination that there's no protected species on the land itself that needs to be protected by Fish and Wildlife.
Okay, I might make one request for a suggestion on your motion. I believe that the DRC fee is partly a deposit, and that deposit it continues to be replenished to cover the engineer's fee. So I don't think that the payment of the engineer's fee needs to be an additional fee. It's just that the deposit needs to be continued to be replenished to cover the engineer's fee. Is that acceptable? I'm not sure how to say that, but okay. Okay, is that a close enough motion that we can second it? Okay, is there a second? Okay, is there any further discussion? I just want to say one thing to the applicant. We, council, rely, as I said, very heavily on the staff. So in moving forward, I strongly suggest that you present something that you can get the staff support on. Without that, we're gonna be hard pressed to go against the advice of the staff on something that's so engineer heavy here. So, any other questions or comments from the council? Okay, all in favor of deferring this until such time as, based on staff determination, a complete application is present, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. So it not necessarily May, because that gives you only until May 13th to get all this in. They're going to give you some information. You're going to give them some information. Make sure you've got it all together. Make sure that they support it, and then we'll see you back here. Thank you. Okay, so moving on. This is a request for a third build. That's where I am. Request for a third building permit. The room's going to empty out here. Okay, and this is seeking approval of Wait, no. A request for a third building permit on 701 High Circle North, Turrentine Properties. Hi there.
Ma'am, it was a little confusing, but hopefully you understood the staff report. There's different days and a different length of extension requested on two of the 4 units.
So only 2 of the 4 units need to be extended?
No. 2 of them are, I think, is 60 days and 2 of them are 90 days. Oddly enough, the permits were not initially issued on the same day, so they even expire on slightly different days as well. But he's requesting an extension on all 4 of them. I think it was 60 days on 2 and 90 days on the other 2.
Okay. Mr. Turrentine? Explain why, I mean, that's 30 days difference. They look, I mean, I know these well. I live right across the water from these. Why are some 30 days difference and they look like they're all at the same point?
It's just really out of, just trying to do this one last time, just as far as getting the permit extended. Units A and B, within the next probably 2 weeks, we'll be ready to even start our initial kind of inspections of those. So everything is pretty much from a code standpoint, with the exception of B. We do need to plaster the pool and complete that, but from code compliance, we're ready to start that process here really shortly. So when I initially submitted for the extension, I just wanted to give us enough time on this. I think we're going to be completely done with everything within 60 days, but I just wanted to I did it out of just to give us enough time on that. So.
Okay, so you're just going to kind of double down on the first 2 to try to get them finished, and then is that what you're thinking?
Unit A is substantial. I mean, it's done with the exception of some shower glass and a couple of mirrors, so it's pretty well there, as well as B. But we've just in the sequencing of the construction with the interior finish out with regard to just interior flooring and things like that. All of that's complete in Unit C as well. Now it's just hardware and trying to get appliances installed and things like that. So they're really far along. It's just a matter of just finishing up the driveways and the Horseshoe Bay lights and some of those items as well.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions? No? Okay, then I'll entertain a motion. On page 28, there's a proposed motion.
I move to approve the request of Turrentine Properties Incorporated for the property located at 701 High Circle North for 60-day permit extensions for units A and B and 90-day permit extensions for units C and D for a total fee of $25,000 for all 4 extensions.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilmember Morgan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Councilmember Hosea. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Good luck.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, now we're to the Cottonwood Shores firefighting contract. So Chief Fowler.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. What you have before you is a request for a contract for service with the City of Cottonwood Shores. And for those that are not familiar with this, let me just do a little brief history. Last year, we noticed that there was a escalation of call volume for the City of Horseshoe Bay going into Cottonwood Shores. Previous to 2024, it had been 2 calls per year. Starting in February, it became 2 calls per month, and then by August, it was 2 calls per week, and that's when we reached out and to leadership with the fire department and the city that we needed to address this problem. In February, it got onto the council agenda, and they formed a committee.
You're talking about the Cottonwood Shore Council agenda.
Cottonwood Shore Council agenda. Yes, ma'am. And I was a member of that committee, and after 2 meetings, the committee was able to put together a framework for the city administrator to have a plan moving forward. They wanted to have a multi-year contract. I said our contract for service are November 1 to October 31 every year. They're one-year contracts. And we were not interested in any kind of long-term contract, and neither was Marble Falls VFD. So after researching, I gave you the information, the comparables. Due to the low call volume, which is essentially about the same as our other three contract areas with Oak Ridge, Blue Lake, and Deer Haven. And so in my estimation, then we are in good shape to take this on. And so I recommend approval of this contract for service.
Okay, and the contract that you're looking at is $161,034.87 per year?
Yes, ma'am.
And for what period are you recommending this contract?
I had recommended to the city administrator for Cottonwood Shores that at the 2-year mark, they be independent. So no more than 2 years.
Starting when? Now? Starting today?
Starting in our contract period, between now and the next contract period, I believe the city manager would have to make a determination on the fees.
And when is that contract period, Chief?
October 31st is when it terminates.
Okay, so it would be starting November 1?
Yes, ma'am.
So we would basically, you'd be looking to Jeff to determine some pro rata contract terms. Well, I mean, we need, if we're going to do this, it needs to be a contract.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions for Chief Fowler?
Well, I'm not sure I understand. It would start today, is it? I mean, or as soon as the ink dries on the contract?
As soon as the agreement is made between the city manager and the city of Cottonwood Shores, then yes.
So then it would be prorated to November 1st, and then another year after that if need be.
Correct. And so then, at the end of that period, which would be 18 months, then we would be deciding, okay, are we going to do it for 6 months or not at all, 2 months, whatever it is. But in essence, it would be 18 months, and then we need to evaluate.
And as it is right now, we're providing fire protection for Cottonwood Shores without any reimbursement whatsoever. Is that correct?
That's correct. Also, Marble Falls Volunteers, Marble Falls Fire Rescue, Granite Shoal, Spicewood, we're all part of the system that provides service there.
Now, is this, and I know JC's here, so we'll ask you this too. It's just Horseshoe Bay considering this being the primary provider? Is that what we're looking at? And Marble Falls, Granite Shoals would still be providing mutual aid like they do to us?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're not looking to do a contract with Marble Falls, only Horseshoe Bay, is that right?
No, ma'am. We talked with Marble Falls, and they're covered up. Actually, one of the first questions I asked them, could they contract with us also? And then also the Marble Falls area volunteer fire department. And his response was, well, you have Horseshoe Bay 4 or 5 minutes away, and you have us 9, 10 minutes away. If you contract with us, then that difference between 4 and 5 minutes could be the difference between a kitchen fire or a house fire. Mm-hmm. It could grow in 4 to 5 minutes. So that's the reason we were leaning toward Horseshoe Bay, because you're so close.
Okay, and obviously, JC, you've seen these numbers. Is this something that your city can do?
It's going to be tough, especially mid-year. This is mid-year for us. But if we look at October, November 1, we'll put it together somehow. In fact, I think you have a copy of the action plan.
You sent it to me. You sent it to me. Yeah, and I don't.
Yes.
If you don't, I have spare copies. But basically, our city council. Let me say first of all, I want to say thanks to the mayor, council, and Jeff and Chief Fowler for all the support we've gotten over the years. This de-escalation or escalation, just literally, you don't want to say it happened overnight, but it really did. We went from a good volunteer fire department to nothing in less than 6 months. And so it's just kind of, it didn't sneak up on us, but it did. I mean, it did, caught us off guard. In our master plan, our 2030 master plan, we had actually put in there to start hiring full-time employees because I could see it coming. I actually, when I was city manager at Pilot Point, we had a combo department. We paid for 3 firefighters, and then they had a volunteer fire department, and I could see that happening in Cottonwood. Didn't see it happening 5 years earlier than we thought, but that's what's happened. So we're going to find a way to pay for it. We're looking already at having an election in November to check our, we have a half-cent sales tax going to CCPD, the Crime Control Prevention District, and they get 1/2 cent. We're looking at possibly going to 1/4 and 1/4. The possibility of going to a district, I don't see that happening. I don't think, it'd be tough to get that passed, but it could happen. But we've got $45,000 in there already that we're going to use from the volunteer fire department because they can't fulfill a contract with one person. So the contract's null and void. We have volunteers that donate about $31,000. You know, we can get close to what we need. We do have just finished today job descriptions for the for the fire chief. We want to hire a part-time fire chief and a part-time office manager / grant writer to get it going, but we need someone dynamic. And I want to say thanks to the chief for serving on our committee, because I think, and I've said it before, we've done something in 3 months that hadn't been fixed in 10 years. So it's worked out real well. Answer your question, short answer is yes, we'll find a way to fund it. So we'll start out with those 2, move those up to full-time, and then every year start hiring more full-time people until we have a good combo department. I will say Pilot Point, when I was there, we had 3 people we paid for, and it took them 15 years, but now they're a full-time department, all city paid. So we can do the same thing, been there, so
Yeah,
it's not something I'm not used to.
This slipped up on you, but I'm just looking at this report that Chief put in our packet that in fiscal year 2020, we had 2 calls for Cottonwood Shores, 21-2, 22-5, 23-2. In fiscal year 24, which we're now in 25, I don't know how many we've had in 25, we had 30. And we did that for free. So our citizens have been, without any return mutual aid, have been paying for the fire and rescue service for Cottonwood Shores virtually for at least 1.5 years. And obviously that's not okay. I mean, our first responsibility, number one responsibility with every tax dollar that we're responsible for, is to provide for the safety of this community. And that's yours too. That's the first thing that has to happen, is we have got to provide for the safety of our community. But it's not our responsibility to provide for the safety of all communities. We're not going to stand by and watch somebody's house burn down and our neighbors. That's not the way it is. But we have to address this. And I mean, I appreciate that you're willing to do this contract because we can't continue it without it. And I don't think we can wait until November. So Jeff, what's your thought on this? Because I don't want to send our staff to a fire without a contract, because that puts us at risk when it shouldn't be our city being put at risk. So we need that contract.
Yes, I've talked with the fire chief, and their crews have had conversations on this, so they can take it on. They don't believe it's going to be a major impact on the community, although we feel the same about stretching us thin. But the contract, we can make that contract and we can get it going by the end of the week by coming up with a pro rata number for that. And then I will work with Dottie on revising that to have a 4 signature, and then we will get it signed and move forwards with it.
I'll need to get our city attorney to look at it also, but that shouldn't be a week delay. But I kind of agree with you. The sooner the better, because I want to get someone dynamic on board to get this back up to the volunteer fire department that we've had. And because the kicker was, fire departments have always been mutual aid, but it's not mutual aid if it's all one way.
Exactly.
That's service. That's not mutual aid. And when it went down to one firefighter who doesn't work in town most of the time.
Who said he comes when he can?
Yeah, that's not mutual aid. You're providing first service. So.
Yeah.
And
Okay. I appreciate that. And one other thing I just want to add, and this is something we've talked about and we've all talked about with this Wirtz Dam Road that we are all facing. You're going to be getting a lot more calls once that road comes in, and it could be 2 years down the road, but you got to plan ahead for it. And I'd be talking to Burnett County because they're the ones that are putting that road in, and there's going to be a lot more. I think there's going to be a lot more calls, not fires, but emergency services calls, and Cottonwood, and probably you will get those calls before we will. So.
And I will say, didn't mean to interrupt you, but I will say we're not asking for EMS service. We already have a contract with Marble Falls EMS. We're going to continue that contract, and we already have a paramedic on the board at the fire department that is doing our EMS responses. So we're not asking for that unless it's some big emergency.
Unless CMS calls for assistance.
Right. It would have to be something large for us to call for that.
Okay, so, Chief, you're not asking for any action from the council at this time, are you? I don't see any motions. Do you need to?
I thought I had one in there.
Oh, is there a motion in there? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see
And
it.
one more thing, I don't mean to
No,
continue,
please.
but our city council, to validify this action plan, our city council approved this 5-0 at our April 3rd meeting. So they're on board to support this action plan.
Okay, I see on page 31. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. And I saw Mayor Dodd, I guess he had to leave. I can imagine with is it his 11th child or his 12th child that's on the way?
What?
His 11th child is on the way or his 12th child is on the way? Mayor Dodd. He's got 11 children now, right?
I thought it was 13. I thought he had six boys and 6 girls, and now I think it's 13.
Well, anyway, I understand he had to
And
leave.
he apologizes, but he had to leave. He was with me earlier, but he had to leave. So.
Thank you very much. So, Council, do you have any other questions for Chief Fowler or for Mr. Hughes? Nope. Okay. All right. I will accept a motion on page 31. Thank you.
Thank you once again.
I move to authorize City Manager Jeff Costa to negotiate a firefighting service agreement with the City of Cottonwood Shores in a manner as prescribed by staff.
Okay. I have a second from Mayor Pro Tem. I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. I have a second from Councilmember Morgan. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so now we move to Resolution 2025-20, supporting the Horseshoe Bay's application for the Texas Department of Transportation's alternative set-aside. This is the shared use path grant. Jeff, do you want to say something about it?
Yes, ma'am. This is the same resolution as we put in the 2023 application. It's a requirement of the contract for us to enter into a resolution that defines that we support or the city council supports the application, and that they are willing to fund anything over the 100% of the contract or the grant money, and also a 20% matching fund for that. So that is in the resolution, and that's what we need for.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions? Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion on this resolution.
I I move to approve Resolution 2025-20 as presented by staff.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Morgan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Hosia. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries. Okay, so let's move to Resolution 2025-21.
Yes, ma'am. This is a request to have TxDOT consider intersection improvements on Highway 2147 at Bay West Boulevard and Bay Boulevard to include roundabout intersections. This was came up in a conversation at the Capitol with TxDOT Executive Director and the Central Texas
Area engineer.
Yeah, the engineer for the district engineer for Austin to request that we put that in and get that to TxDOT so they can consider that. We've already discussed and worked with the new division in TxDOT to develop these roundabouts, and so we're kind of excited to get going. We've got good positive connection with the local engineer out of Burnett on the same thing, and so this resolution kind of puts us in place for them to have that consideration and move forward with it.
Okay, and just to be clear, the TxDOT requested that we initiate the request for them to start looking at roundabouts. This is a very long-term thing. This is not going to happen next week or the next year. But it's just for TxDOT to start to, they would like for this initiation to come from us rather than them. It just puts them in a better position. So we're just complying with the request for TxDOT that we send them a resolution.
And this is part of our transportation plan that we will be bringing to the council to approve on May. This next
In May,
council
right. Okay, do you have any questions for Jeff? Okay, does anyone want to make a motion?
I move to approve Resolution 2025-21 as presented by staff.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Waddell. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Morgan. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, let's move to ordinance 2025-12, repealing the exemption for telecommunication services from the city sales and use tax. Molly, would you like to explain that?
Sure. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Currently, the City of Horseshoe Bay, they are exempting the sales tax on our telecommunication services. And recently it's come to our attention that many cities have repealed that. In my peer group alone, some of them are Cottonwood Shores, Marble Falls, Llano. They actually did it back in '88. And Granite Shoals did it in 2014. So staff is recommending that we repeal the exemption. As far as the amount we would possibly collect, I do not know. I have requested information from the comptroller, and they have until April 23rd.
What exactly is included in telecommunication services?
That is one of the questions I asked, because I'm not too sure. I don't know. I think Dottie.
I mean, is that our franchises for the cable TV? Is that telephone, hardline telephones? I mean, I don't know what.
I would imagine it's hardline telephones. I don't know that it would be cellular. So, Frank, do you have any idea?
I don't know. I still don't even know why we would repeal it. I'm still trying to figure.
Extra revenue.
Repealing it would be extra revenue?
Sales tax.
It's an exemption.
We repeal the exemption.
Oh,
Right
the
now
exemption.
We're exempting.
Oh, I misunderstood.
We don't know. Well, okay. Well, whatever it is, it would be nice to get an extra,
No. Okay.
Especially exemption that so it's repealed. Other cities have done this and they receive additional revenue.
Yeah.
And this is still our track to try to find more revenues since we have the issue.
Okay. Dottie, did you find out for us?
I can read what I found in the tax code, telecommunication services, electronic or electrical transmission, conveyance, routing,
How do we,
A lot of that, we have a lot of those. Okay, well, it sounds pretty minimal. Right. Okay, okay, council, do you have any questions or someone want to make a motion?
I move to approve ordinance 2025-12 as presented by staff.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Morgan. Is there a second?
Thank you, Don.
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Okay. So now we move to our consent agenda, right? I didn't skip something, did I? Council, is there anything you would like to remove from the consent agenda? Okay, then I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as it's presented.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Okay, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Waddell. All in favor say aye. And it's approved. Okay, monthly reports. Moving along.
I'm going to make this very short because it's been a very, very long day, and we actually are done before 5 if we do this. So I just want to give a quick update on the city center. We're about 45% or so done on that project. It's moving at a very fast pace. We are, as we talked about a little bit earlier, some of the rock is starting to go up. The roof is on top. They painted the inside of the roof. They're putting up metal studs now. So it is moving at a great pace, and we're expecting it probably mid-May to have a tour of the council members set up to come out and look at the building as it's starting to kind of come together. And also, that'll give us a chance to really look at our 20th anniversary and kind of see how we're going to lay things out over there. In the same breath, the fire station is coming on the same way, very fast. Looks like it might actually be ahead of schedule on some things. So we've kind of hit the point where the good weather is caught up with the construction, and we're moving right along. So I just want to give you an update
Okay.
on that.
You know, and Carrie, I would like to invite all the council. So we need to publish a notification of a potential quorum if we could. And maybe we could do that, our next council meeting, Jeff, it's May the 20th. Do you think maybe we could just do it that day? I mean, most council members will be here that day. Does anybody know that they're going to be absent on the 20th? Maybe we could plan it for the 20th of May, and council could all go, and we'll invite members of our design committee to go along. May the 20th.
Would you like to do that in the morning? 9 o'clock, or?
Well, I don't want to well, I don't know, Jeff. I mean, Rick, what?
It's going to be hot, and it's going to be inside the building, so.
Yeah, I think maybe if we could do it, 9 o'clock or something. I mean, we don't want to interfere too much with their work any more than we have to.
We'll let them know we're coming,
So,
and they'll clean up and like a
Yeah,
contract.
so see if that works out with them, and then if you would all send us a calendar invite and let us know that we'll do that. Okay?
Will do.
Anything else?
That's it.
Are there any reports from any of your liaisons? Okay. Is any other directors who have anything they'd like to add? Okay, great. Then, absent any other business, at 4:47, we'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you all so much. Yeah, it was.